said that every center and state must have a criminal justice commission. Now this was a very important recommendation which would review the performance of the investigation, the prosecution and the judiciary. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot talk about police reforms without talking about the Central Bureau of Investigation, the premier investigating agency in this country, headed by an IPS officer. And the CBI has come under a cloud. Its credibility is being questioned time and again, and that needs to be reformed. And I would say here there are two things which we have to do. First of all, the very appointment of the CBI director. Under the Special Police Establishment Act, the CBI director is appointed by the chairman, CBC, other members of the CBC, two secretaries to the Government of India. Now this should be made broad-based. It must include the leader of the opposition, like the way we do it for the CVC, Central Vigilance Commission. The appointment of the current CVC is being questioned because the leader of the opposition pointed out certain things on the record which were not there. So this appointment of the CBI director has to be made broad-based, so it has some kind of a credibility. There is nothing in the Special Police Establishment Act regarding the removal of the CBI director. That needs to be looked into it. The removal of the CBI director should be the manner in which the CVC chief is removed. That is under the CVC Act of 2003. With this, we must. I would like to say that the single directive, which is one of the biggest source of corruption in this country at the higher level of civil services, must be done away with. The single directive was struck down by the Supreme Court in the Jan Hawala case. Then again, it found its legislative rebirth in the CVC Act of 2003. Now the CVC, the Central Vigilance Commission, in its annual report, has been saying that this needs to be struck down. It is violative of Article 14 of the Indian Constitution between the bureaucracy at the top and the politicians at the top. It serves the interests of both these institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, you can legislate. My Professor Upendra Bakshi would teach us, he would say, India in terms of GDP is very low, but in terms of gross national legislation, we are #1 in the world. So you may legislate, make rules and laws, but you cannot legislate human character. Ladies and gentlemen, I would just conclude. The key to effective policing, according to Sir Robert Peel, founder of the first Metropolitan Police in 1829, said that the police are the people and the people are the police. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Mahesh, for that brilliant. He is really working. That point seems to have gone all the way with all our listeners and all the participants, which is a very healthy sign that you all think in the same manner. You are also the point that the CBI credibility should be restored, and the credibility in the system should be restored by reference to the need for reforms, by reference to the proper selection, transparent, non-partial and clean selection process. The question of democratic control which you have raised may have some other persons may have very serious disputes whether there should be a democratic control, meaning the control of the politician in the appointment of the police officer. It may be a very dicey subject. No, democracy, you had said about the democratic control in Tamil Nadu, where ultimately it goes to the level of the ministry. That is how I understood it. Anyway, but yours was a brilliant performance. I must congratulate you for that. Last, not the least, now comes the chairman, president of a mega association of Madras, having the membership of 11,000 lawyers. So he will have much to say about the nexus of the lawyers with the
Chair, not the Honorable Justice P.S. Silvester, the respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, ladies and gentlemen. My Lord knows, I used to always fight against the police atrocities in the state, especially in Tamil Nadu and relating to state others. Whenever the throat of democracy has been trodden, I come on the street and raise my voice and suspend this police and that police. Sometimes I take into consideration, sometimes they ignore. Even yesterday, even before coming here, the 3 lawyers have been attacked, that has been questioned, and then the judicial order has been passed by the Madras High Court. In the High Court has said, the direction has been issued to conduct an inquiry by the CBCID. But in the instructions are being given in the direction, suppose he failed to do that, in the interest of justice of administration, that we are doing it to conduct an inquiry, proper inquiry has been made. Then after inquiry, the direction has been issued. I went and met the Additional Director of General of Police yesterday. What I said, Lord, I told them, you should not yield any pressure. Then why I should say this? Some pressure, but the invisible hands are playing. We do not know who are they. Maybe in the politicians, maybe in the hierarchies, not in the police officials. We do not know. Because a person who did more than 35 crimes is not even one time arrested. He has been threatened, who is discharging the professional duty. That has been, when we brought in the notice of the Commissioner, now brought to the notice of the Director General of Police, even then no action has been initiated. Subsequently, the lodge conduct before the authorities 482, we got it. This is the circumstance that in Madras we have wanted to say. But I thought that Mr. Kamaraj is come to defend the police, I thought. But unfortunately he said, no, what if suppose he committed a mistake, we are accepting the mistake. He said, for that we are controlling him. We always, suppose if good police officer, that we should appreciate the police officer. We are not come for saying that, no, this officer do this and that. It is not so. Our intention is to maintain the rule of law. Maintain the rule of law in the state is the more important. How to control? See, this is a very scientific research is required in this issue, because why the atrocity has been done by the police. Who has to question it? Who has to build the cat? These are the issues has been before us. Now what I have been trying to say, on 22/9/2006, the Supreme Court has passed an order in the Prakashing case, and after the Union of India, 6th direction has been issued. Whether this 7th direction has been issued, bring out the police reforms to make the police free from political interference in accountability of the citizens. Whether that has been followed or not, even today. When the Malimat Committee, the Commission's report has come, I am the man who raised my voice there in South India. I said this Commission's report should not be implemented. Because this committee report, to some extent, totally they are supporting the police atrocities. See, that's why we said, we brought into the court action, sometimes we said, no, this should not be implemented. See, already there have been more and more power. Where you are considering the power? What is the power has been given? Whether the normal people in this society has been suffering a lot. Many people are going a lot in complaints. Nothing has been taken on cognizance. If this is circumstance, who has to build the gap? This is, we brought in many occasions, even by the Supreme Court of India. And then the most of the uniform are compelled to believe that the duty of maintaining law and order, prevention of crimes and nabbing the culprits can be effectively performed against the perpetrators only with all the weaponry at their command. This has to lead a further belief among the police of India that the torture or the so-called third degree method is an usual course to make the criminals open their mouth and is part and parcel of any investigation. These beliefs result in the usual brutal exercise in force for casual way of as custodial death. Now it has been drastically reduced. Your Lord knows, when you have been dealing with the habeas corpus petition, many occasions in Tamil Nadu, we filed the custodial death, but somehow your Lordship an order for the inquiry, for the investigation has taken place. See, what is the reason for custodial death? Then who has to tell it? Finally what the police people say that this has happened, we have not done anything, we are not answerable to that. So what steps you have taken so far? The many custodians they sit down, but the police authorities, when we are bringing into the notice, not in notice of the hierarchies, no action has been set for. And then there's a widespread of tendency which has been penetrated into the rank and file of the uniformed force, that the foreign steps encounters are better than the long drawn court battles. So also strict justice is better than the rule of law. As you all are aware that any power, that the recent encounter has been made, you all aware the 2 children has been killed by one rowdy element, and he has been given voting just for the police departments to the public. All the public has said he has to kill. On the very next day he has killed. But most of the people in Tamil Nadu are welcoming it. To some extent they are welcoming that this kind of encounters, because it's very true. What we say in that word is atrocity has been done by the criminals, the police has no other way as doing this. But suppose if it is in some manner fighting, the bad, mentally as the bad. If the police people are doing, what is our situation, what we are going to say on that aspect, we do not know. Even it is brought into the court notice also, sometimes everybody is keeping silent regarding the encounter. I do not know to that extent what the steps even the courts are going to take. One after the many number of encounters has been done not even in Tamil Nadu. In recent past, that one has happening in the Gujarat. Now it's pending with the Supreme Court of law that I don't want to interfere that. So what I have been trying to say, these type of whether we can say it is an atrocity by anyone, or what the encounter has been done by them, it's whether it is justified. These are the questions that have been placed before us. So what I have been trying to say, it has been everyone's experience that the police often act on behalf of the power centers or the ruling elite. It has been often seen that the objective of the police to interfere on behalf of the powerful, keep going on discrimination and oppression of the exploited and powerless. It is said to note that when the men in uniform become handmaids or henchmen of such perpetrators of justice, the worst form of anarchy is let loose and human rights are trampled upon. All this has made it very necessary being the police reform in our country, so as to free up the police from power and political interference and make them the independent and accountable, and also they answerable for any misuse or abuse. The Supreme Court, it is above mentioned, the decision has directed the constitutions of security commissions and police compliance authorities. The Government of India on its own hand has constituted the Police Act Draft Committee in September 2005 to draft the new Police Act as to replace the existing Police Act which was enacted in the year 1861. The move to change the law governing the police in the country has come only after a long wait of 140 years. The said drafting committee included Solicitor General, the former Attorney General of India, various senior bureaucrats of the police officers. The existing Police Act, something like which has laid down the basic framework of the system, the police system in our country. The police remain in the state subject to the states have enacted on their own acts to give shape to the basic structure depending upon the regional requirements. The consequences of the Police Act are far-reaching. We might not say it is sometimes the fight between the lawyers and the police. See, what I have been to say, where this has been arising between the fight between the police and the lawyers. We are discharging our professional duty. Whether my lord accepts or not, I do not know. When we are doing the discharging our professional duty, naturally, our client goes to the police station, lodging a complaint. Suppose it is not taken into considerations, naturally we are forced to go there. We are questioning it. Whether we have that right or not is a different issue. But when the police is not discharging the profession, is not doing so, then we are an authority to question it. When we are questioning the authority of the police, then immediately they got annoyed and they are fighting with us. If this be the circumstances, at the outset, what the public used to say, all the lawyers will go and fight with the police and the lawyers is like that. It is not so. It is not absolutely what you see. You think it over. What's the flickering in mind? See, suppose if the lawyers is not there, somebody, some third parties, how many people knows about the law?